Hello, hello. Welcome back to Minds on Mushrooms. I am your host, Maggie Kirkwood, and today I am honored to be in the presence of Derek Barlow and his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym. We are at Bellum Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here in St. Paul, and thank you so much, Derek, for having me here today. I'm excited to connect on a few things.
Thank you for being here too.
You're welcome. First off, I just completed hosting a microdosing 101 workshop here at the gym. We had an intimate crowd, but it was just a really beautiful experience, I felt, and just a good time to take pause and honor this medicine that can bring us pause and stillness in these chaotic days. So thanks again for having me. I really enjoyed my time here.
Happy Sunday.
Cheers. So, Derek, I have been looking forward to this conversation. There's a couple, let's say, kind of full circle moments I want to touch on, and we will in time. But I do want to honor you. A few years back, when I was kind of in the middle of my what I like to call dark days, just with kind of unknown depression, drinking heavily. I was still married at this point, but that's when I first met you. And we were at a party, and I was already intoxicated and drinking, and you weren't. And you just simply shared that you were taking a microdose of magic mushrooms. And I think I gave you just a weird look. And like, I did not mean anything to me, but I think back then, I want to say this is probably 6-7 years ago, you had a pretty good idea about microdosing psilocybin. So I just kind of want to start there. And, what was it that made you curious about psilocybin and, the idea that you were microdosing 5, 6, 7 years ago, kind of what turned you on to that idea?
A lot of the emerging science, I suppose. I'd heard different podcasts and read different things, studies related to trauma, psychological mostly, a little bit of TBI type things, and like neurological rewiring. And I became super interested. And I've always thought, like, I don't want to do anything where I'm not completely lucid and like in with reality, because I don't know how I'll react, right? So it was always kind of a hang up. But the more I heard set and setting, I was like, okay, let's try this. And I actually started out with like 3 grams.
Oh, wow.
On my own. Just, I'm going to go do this thing with really no intent, no guide, see what all the hubbub is about. And I did do music, quiet room, completely dark. I did all those things right. And I did kind of, from what I perceived, was connect with ancestry a little bit.
Okay.
Very mystical. And then I had this huge chip on my shoulder sort of attitude that what I got out of it was that seemed to have almost disappeared afterwards. But I didn't have like a profound, like, I need to change, how I think, or I'm depressed. I didn't even realize that I was depressed.
Yes.
Because that's just normal. That's in life. This is a feeling, and this is your feeling, and this is how you feel. And it's not depression. It's just normal.
So, okay, let's unpack for a little bit. So you, first of all, kind of off the bat decided you were going to kind of go big and have 3 grams, self-guided, right? But you at this point, you were aware of set and setting, and that's important. And you had some music. So so when you say it just kind of, let's talk more about the experience itself. So you said mystical and kind of connecting with ancestors, or just let's talk about
Yeah.
that.
So to recap a little bit, I basically felt colors, changing, coming at me, being very psychedelic, just like you'd see on YouTube or something like that.
Hmm.
Then all of a sudden it was just lights, outer space, like black hole type of, we're flying through dimensions, whatever it is, outer space, the universe. And I'm kind of in I'm experiencing different times.
Hmm.
Um, Fur loincloths, um, your teepee type of dwellings, and nothing was completely clear. These are things that flash in and out.
Absolutely.
A little bit of what seemed to be Japanese type, feudal Japan
Cool.
sort of time frame, and I was there. It wasn't like, hey, this is your uncle, or
Hmm.
it just seemed to me that this was, I'm going back generations, or
I like
is the
to
feeling that I got.
I love that. Yeah, I like to say just this knowing. Like you can't really put it into words, but it's happening and it's just this knowing or understanding you are where you are and let's soak it up. So when you say you talked about having a chip on your shoulder, let's talk about that. And is going into the ceremony or this experience, were you aware of this chip on your shoulder or was it kind of illuminated because of the experience?
It was illuminated, I suppose, because again, normality is normality. I don't see a problem where there's not a problem in my mind.
Hmm.
So the after the fact, I just kind of noticed like a little more. Instead of being so judgy, it's like, well, why is he? And I hate to sound like blunt or crude, but like, why is that guy so dumb? Well, what made him that way, right?
Hmm.
Did he even finish school? Like, did he have the opportunity to go to school? Right?
Hmm.
I don't know his background.
Right.
Maybe he's been hit by a car. Like,
Hmm.
I have no idea. Who am I to, if anything, let's try to figure out why he's thinking this way and help him instead of just, I don't have time for him. He's too stupid. I can't be around this guy. He's bothering me.
So just
Right?
not so quick to just place judgment and maybe take a step back and put yourself
In someone else's
in their
shoes.
shoes. Okay, I love that. I think that's a beautiful like kind of first offering that the medicine can provide is just a simple perspective shift and able to ability to take a step back before we react or judge. So you had that um, somewhat profound experience. Did tell me more about how have you had other? Well, we're going to get to. We recently did work together, but I just want to talk with microdosing and yourself. Have you?
So to kind of rewind, after that experience, I started microdosing myself
Okay.
again without, just based on what I read, what the dosage should be, things like this, and it was mainly for focus,
Okay.
just general focus, in professional life, and then athletic performance a little bit too. Let's see how this is, and I like the feeling. It's good,
Mm-hmm.
but it was, again, non-addictive. It's something I can walk away from, and
Yes.
I kind of got out of the habit, and it was fine. Everything was seemingly going fine, but again, I'm kind of in this normal state
Mm-hmm.
where this is how I think, and none of that really got hashed out
I see.
in the first experience and in the microdosing. But the microdosing definitely athletic performance focus and a mood uplifter. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, for sure.
Love it. For me, it's been what I keep calling this full circle moment is um, you were, just even bringing the idea of magic mushrooms or psilocybin into my mind so many years ago. But you ended up reaching out not too long ago and you were talking to me that you had been struggling a little bit and really looking to do an intentional larger dose. So I was just so honored that you had called. And yeah, if you don't mind, I would just love to kind of dissect that experience with the audience. I think it's so helpful when people can kind of just hear firsthand about these experiences. um, if you're comfortable, and what was it? Why did you feel the need to reach out?
So I guess I started to things compound, right, in life, whether good or bad. So depression is the same thing. Now I find myself at this age where things compound and they get so bad that now I know something's wrong. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what, or what depression feels like, or what anger, all these other emotions. You kind of know what they are, but they're normalized. But now it's to the point where it's you can't control it, and I know something's wrong and I need a change. I've never been a big therapy type. I've done it when I was a kid. I feel like, in my opinion, and maybe I had a string of bad therapists, it's almost like, hey, let's just live in this world and keep talking about this same thing. And it never really got anywhere because this default mode network,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not breaking those patterns, and part of that to me is a physical thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I don't think everyone, and I could be wrong, can will something like that through behavioral changes. I think sometimes you need to blow the breaker box. And that was kind of where I wanted to start, was with you. And I knew I needed, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I need more.
Mm.
We'll try this. We'll start here. If this doesn't work, maybe we'll go to Ibogaine or something different, but I need to do something. And I'll pull out all the stops at this point because it's either this or I'm going to go, I mean, metaphorically off a cliff.
Mm.
And I could see patterns of self sabotage my entire life now that I'm looking at this
Mm-hmm.
from the cliff's edge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm going to implode everything now
Wow.
because it's what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can pull up chalks and run and
Right.
and try to get, I rewind a little bit.
Sure.
There's a lot of emotion and a lot of processing that I'm trying to do because you can't put these things into words. So bear with me. But always trying to leave my past behind.
Mm.
And the quicker I can run,
Mm-hmm.
the lighter I can be, the less I can let someone in emotionally. It's just me, and I can
Mm-hmm.
depend on that.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
maybe not being worthy of love, because who would want to love somebody like this?
Mm.
Rightfully so. And so, yeah, that was where we ended up. And
Wow.
I
Yeah.
reached out, and then, yeah, we started.
Well, thank you so much for sharing and being vulnerable. I just think it's so important for the audience to know that sometimes in life, when it can be very isolating, and I'm only speaking from my own experience here, but when I was struggling with depression and alcohol, I really felt like there was no one to turn to. And so I just appreciate you having awareness around the fact that you're feeling this way and you don't really have a name to it and you can't really identify, but just, awareness, and then curious about exploring a larger dose safely. I think we talked a lot about, um, some of these journeys at a larger dose help just provide access. It's almost like you're peeling back the different layers um, of incidents. And I think that if it's fair to say, um, to me, I feel, and I'm not just speaking generally about men, but there's a certain amount of armor that we all have, especially men sometimes, um, where, men are taught crying means you're weak, or showing emotion essentially um, can be very difficult. So, can you talk a little bit during the ceremony and experience? Did you feel that you were able to have any sort of emotional release, or was it more of a journey? um, what was the overall like kind of tone of this recent ceremony for you?
The easiest way I could describe it was, quickest and easiest was like a molting or a changing of armor. Like, you can have armor, but it doesn't need to be so thick, and you need to have armor that you can move in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to keep people at a distance that deserve to be, but other people, you need to let them love you and you need to love them 100% back, not 90,
Mm-hmm.
because there's still this bad connection, like with a cell phone charger that's charging, but it says charging slowly on your device.
Mm-hmm.
It's not right. Something's not right. You're
Mm-hmm.
holding back. And that was kind of the biggest thing, was this almost like a shell broke off,
Wow.
which is the former self, or the concrete encasement, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and then a change of armor. There was some more spiritual things to this one too, from what seemed to be a Christian perspective,
Okay.
that really solidified that for me. Things you can't explain.
Yeah.
That
The knowings.
there some quantum mechanics. People that were kind of praying for me and watching out for me during this. I had no idea were doing it, and they were in the vision.
Oh, that's right. That's so
So that
incredible.
was kind of profound. But
Mm.
that was pretty much what I recall for the most part in that whole journey, that 5 hour journey. Was that was kind of a continuing thing there. And then my wife's in the middle of this whole thing because of me. Obviously, I'm a terror to be around and be married to, and just to my own self as well.
Mm.
So she's in this thing continuously as a kind of a helpless bystander, was the feeling I got.
Mm.
Just kind of waiting for word from the front.
Mm.
Yes, your husband has survived or not,
I
was
see.
kind of the feeling that I
Wow.
had until it was over.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You know, during the ceremony, I think we were about, I want to say 3.5, 4 hours in. There was a point, and by the way, as an observer and just sitting and holding space for you, you were moving. It's just so much. Your body was just kind of like making these inflections, and it just seemed like you were working through so much. And I kept wanting to just, I kind of couldn't wait to tell you this when you were out of it and on the other side. Like, I was just so proud of you for having the courage to take something like this on when you have, it's really hard to have any expectations. But at a certain point in the journey, you said, Maggie, tell my wife she can come home. And she did. And I feel, I was not, you wanted to see her and I was not in the room, but, um, I was really hoping that it was this situation that brought you closer together, or you had seen, or you had visions um, in your experience, where just kind of like this, a stronger bond, if you will. I don't want to be putting words into your mouth or anything, but just can you talk about kind of that experience?
Yeah, instantly I felt more connected, like 10 times. Again, things compound, so maybe it wasn't 10 times, but it felt like 10 times. It's the difference between, I could put this in a jujitsu perspective, like if you're competing, there's a difference between a hard training with your friend at 90% to 100, and that difference is a lot.
Mm,
The difference from 60 to 90 in a training session isn't as much as 90 to 100. That last
I
10%
see.
to
Okay.
me is a lot.
Mm-hmm. So,
So that's kind of how I could describe that.
got you.
And I've felt that way ever since. Even if there's a problem, like if we're in a little tiff or whatever, I still feel that connection. And it hurts more to be in the tiff now than it did before.
Mm, okay.
Before it'd be like, oh, we're just in a fight. It's fine. I'll get over it. Now, like, I don't like it at all because it feels like
Unresolved.
it's jarring at the connection that I like this connection,
I
and I
see.
don't want anything to interrupt it,
Got
if
you.
that makes sense.
Yeah, and I
I
think
feel very close to her now.
that's so beautiful. Yeah, and I just remember in the conversations that we had leading up to the ceremony, I without rehashing too much, but you were just saying you were running, right? Like rather than dealing with you were that low and kind of down on your own self that you're saying, Holly, you're better off, without me. And whether it's in that moment or So again, it's just the power of this medicine to me is just, you know, exponential when it helps, when I see that people are sitting with the medicine and able to sit with emotions rather than shoving them down or running away. Um, and again, I'm not trying to put any words in your mouth, but I just feel like from where you were pre-ceremony, the way that you're talking today, I just see such major shifts, and it's really special to hear you
I
say
mean,
things.
and I don't want to make it like this is a cure all, because I still want to run
Mm-hmm.
from time to time, not as often,
Yeah.
but I know that it's not correct. And there's, so like, I'm not trapped in the same thought patterns. If I like, hey, I want to run, I should run, I should do this, I know it's a lie. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, but you're just, that's the old thought pattern. Stop it. And you can snap out of it very quickly. It's not like this consistent feedback loop
Mm-hmm.
anymore where it's just constant, and then that compounds on itself. No, you're
Mm-hmm.
worthless. You're extra worthless. You're very extra worthless,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that,
Oh, I know. I think that's the number one message I'm just trying to get people to realize is there these are negative thought patterns and loops that have been ingrained, for decades. And for me, if it weren't for the medicine, I would probably be still living in these ingrained patterns and conditions that I'm unaware of. Um, so after ceremony, you did implement a microdosing protocol, correct?
I did.
And yeah, I just want to touch on that. Where to me, I think I'm really trying to press this idea of when we have ceremony or a larger dose experience, um, the work kind of begins there in some perspective, talking about just really taking this critical learning period that follows a breakthrough experience to implement microdosing. Um, and I just want to, ask, was it, were you, did the microdosing protocol kind of help you maintain some of these um, knowings or understandings of your ceremony? Did things kind of unfold as time went on? Is there anything that you can speak to about microdosing post breakthrough experience?
For sure. Um, the kind of the same thing before, but now I, instead of like, I take it in the morning,
Okay.
and it's not, okay, this is a mood, cognitive booster and athletic, booster, which it is. Like, I ride my bike to work in the morning when it's nice, and then I get right to work, and I'm very productive in the AMs,
Mm,
and that's great. But I also am a little bit more clear headed, so I do my best kind of calculating and thinking in the morning
okay.
when it relates to my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
I try to start the day intentionally by texting my wife or calling her, and when I can, and just touching base there on a good note. Let's start the day with some nice
Yes.
greeting. What are you into? I'd like her to ask me what I'm doing. We make a plan, and everything's done under this, still under the microdose. And
Mm,
I think it's just a good way to get the day flowing in a positive manner.
I love
I
that.
do know days that I take off, I don't know that I feel any different.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to think that it's just keeping that mind state steady. Um, I play with 2 days off, three, one, none,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kind of see. But I haven't. We're gonna take 5 days off and do some data analytics and see how I feel. Mood, anger, sadness. I haven't
Mm,
done an in-depth study like that,
sure.
but I've played around, and I think that it, like anything, you don't want to even exercise. You'd like to cool down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you come from a journey, in my head, I'm thinking, instead of cold turkey, we taper it down and ride that steady wave for a while with the
Um,
microdose.
yes, I think research shows that following a microdosing protocol after the breakthrough experience It really is such amazing time to tap into, like, I like to think of it as our fertile soil brain, right? And um, just continuing momentum from the profound experience that you've just had. I wanted to touch on meditation and mindfulness. Are you, remind me, are you practice meditation, or has that changed as part of kind of this whole journey involving psilocybin? Or yeah, what are your meditation practices, if any?
I've been lacking on breath work, I'm going to admit. Um, but I am able to turn my mind completely off. Like if I lay down
Mm-hmm.
and I cover my eyes with anything, a hoodie, a piece of cloth, or anything,
Mm-hmm.
and there's silence, I'm able to basically tune out any thought. And I do that probably 4 days a week, I would
Oh
say,
wow.
at least
So
on
just
average.
chilling in the void.
Yes, exactly. And that could be anywhere from 5 minutes to a half an hour.
Have you practiced any microdosing with meditation?
I have not.
Okay. Just
Well, okay, I take that back. I have twice with
okay.
you,
Oh,
but not on my own, not as a something at home.
yeah. I'm just curious. I myself am just really exploring this idea. I love microdosing because it's small amounts, sub-perceptual, little, no intoxication. So you really can go on and do your day just as you would, whether that's, going to the gym, picking up kids, all these things. But I myself have been trying to focus on having intentional microdosing sessions where I'm spending the duration in meditation, breath work, or just trying to turn my mind off. But I really do feel that when I'm meditating with medicine, I just feel like a more powerful connection, I guess. So it's kind of just something that I try and promote, well, especially in my workshops.
I would agree with the connection point, and that's again back to in the mornings. Like I like to, if I'm home, spend time with my wife, or if it's if I'm gone out of the house, at least we start conversating for the day because I feel like it's the best connection point,
Mm,
right?
that's so
And
beautiful,
and
Derek.
so she microdoses too from time to time. So
That's sweet.
together it's even better. Um,
I
we are all connected in some sort of way. The fungi and plants are all connected, like
absolutely.
legitimately in the ground. It's like the internet. They're something from Africa goes through the soil all the way to here. Like they can communicate. This has been proven.
True story.
So if
Yes.
that's the case, and then we have quantum mechanics in the mix,
Hmm.
we can definitely connect better.
Well,
If anything, even at an eye level, right? If I look at you in certain ways with depth or
hmm,
not with depth,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Those are connections. You have it with animals, even certain
yes.
looks for certain periods.
Hmm.
There's a connection, and they can feel it, and so can you.
That is very profound talk. I'm curious. I assume with jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of talk around mindset, right?
There
Do
is, there is.
Can you tell me what the general mindset, is it about remaining positive? How do you train mindset in jiu-jitsu?
Like any other sport, right? So if you don't have confidence, you have to train confidence, or you don't have aggression, you have to train aggression in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you have a mindset of defensiveness, maybe you need to develop a mindset of offensiveness,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to change your mindset, which everyone talks about doing,
Mm,
but it's easier said than done. Definitely
absolutely.
easier said than done.
Yeah, I kind of see, just with the medicine, so much of it, I like to talk about it, is about mindset as well. Like you can, same as being sober every day, we have the choice. We can make certain choices or have certain perspectives. So I believe that this medicine really helps us to take pause and kind of, before we react or before we make a choice, sit with what feels well. But for me, the medicine has helped shift my mindset completely, from when I was struggling and just crying daily and living in this depression that I was unaware of. So I just, yeah, I appreciate any sort of conversation around um, mindset. I was just curious how that rolls into jujitsu. Have you done any exploration with microdosing and doing any sort of jujitsu workout or any?
Yeah, I do that typically once a week.
Okay.
And for me, it's if I want to work on something, again, that could be mindset.
Mm.
It's easier to focus on a task. So if you are wandering all around, like, I got three things I want to try to, no, let's narrow that down. It's easier to narrow it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then also being in that flow state or meditative state, it's a lot easier for me to just be in the zone and like
Gotcha.
do the work. And I almost feel like sharper physically, more mentally, because you are in that zone. Again, you're in that sort of meditative zone.
Mm-hmm.
You hear athletes talk about this from other disciplines like running. There may be a world record that gets smashed, or what were you thinking on this mile with this pace? He's like, I wasn't thinking.
Right.
And it's like that performance from that athlete is his definitive performance, and he'll never touch that again.
Mm.
Right?
Yep.
So it's kind of like that. That's that flow state. Like, this is where we are. We're firing on all cylinders, physically and mentally, and it's just a beautiful thing to be able to
Get in
focus
that.
and
Yeah.
and stay there at the limit.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, there went an hour.
So true. Yeah, I was, I think, referring to sublime flow state, where there is no space and time, right? And you can get there through
Right.
meditation or through, uh, you know, full on activities where you find yourself lost
Mm-hmm.
in the flow. Um, well, let's see here. I wanted to just touch upon, did you have, what were your, just leading back to your most recent large dose experience, what were your major, did you have any like reservations or, can you, was there anything on your mind that you were like really worried about?
Not not because I had someone there. So no. My own mind, I'm thinking, well, if I do 5 or 6 grams by myself, it's double what I did last time, and I was already kind of out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what I'll do? I might wander around outside or something like that, and
Yeah.
I didn't want that. I
Okay.
didn't realize how important it was to go in there with actual intent, have somebody talk with you and kind of have, hey, this seems to be what you're looking to accomplish out of this, right? And then let's hone in on that as we go into the experience, because you're not just going in there for the sake of going in there. Even though the
Absolutely.
set and setting is correct, you're not going to have a bad experience like you would at a house party, but you're not going to get out of it what you would with goals.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that there is a lot of preparation that goes into these very important and profound experiences. So, I think the more expectation we have, we never know what to expect. But just this idea around, I like to say areas of focus, we don't have to be, intentions are one thing and setting them are wonderful, but people can get really caught up, word for word. But it's more or less just these areas of focus where you're struggling, or there could be growth, or there's something you're trying to get rid of, such as an addiction, or something that you're trying to dig deeper into, childhood wounds and traumas. So I appreciate that, you've noted the importance of having a guide to make sure you're safe with these large doses. Well, is there anything else that we should talk about here? I really appreciated today. The conversation was a lot more at the workshop, neuroscience informed, as research is just showing us how psilocybin reacts to our brain receptors, and it affects our serotonin levels. So I really think it starts to kind of paint a picture, as it was always such a mystery as to how this medicine is helping or not. But I really appreciated the opportunity to get in front of a group of people and talk about the neuroscience aspects. And I just, again, I'm just so thankful to have had the opportunity to work with you. Um, I want to promote your gym a little bit here. So, how long have you been at this current space?
Well, so it's funny, we were at this space 2 times. We were in the lower level, and then
Mm,
actually 3 times. We were in the lower level, moved upstairs within a day, and then moved to another brick and mortar.
okay.
Then COVID came, disrupted all of that, and we ended up back in this space with a new landlord with a fresh remodel.
Ooh,
Now in the current space we sit in. So again, full circle, here we are, and we've been
wow.
in this space for probably 5 years ish.
Okay. And Bellum's been operating
Over
for,
8 now.
okay. And yeah, this beautiful gym here. How many?
9 years, actually, January, 9 years.
Oh, wow.
Goes
Congratulations.
very fast.
Amazing. Um, how many members you have?
Give or take anywhere from, because it fluctuates literally week to
Sure.
week. This is jujitsu in a nutshell. It's going to be probably 80 to 100
Wow.
kids and adults.
Okay, so yeah, what age can the kiddos start?
They'll start from 6 to 14. Typically, that's what we like. 5, we'll try it if
Hmm.
they're mature enough. I don't like putting people or telling people they can't even have a shot, right? If
Sure.
the kid's very mature, or if they have a sibling that they can kind of latch onto and follow that older kid
Mm-hmm.
behavior, we'll try it out and see how it goes. But as far as adults go, at 14 they transition to that class,
I see.
and then you can be 100 years old. Of course, nobody here is 100. We do have someone in their late 60s, and we did have a black belt that came up with me, and he was 59, I believe, when he got his black belt. So you can train it.
Wow.
Again, everything is scalable.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be as intense as you want or as not intense as you want. And your partners can either know that or they feel that, right? Like if you and I go, I'm not going to treat you the same way I'm going to treat it one of my contemporaries. You're new. The dial's going to be turned way down,
Yes.
and
Yes.
we're going to play a lot more. It's going to be more intentional, and there's going to be a little bit more feedback in the very next round of live training that I go to. That partner may be a little bit more advanced, and I can turn up the dial just a little bit, or I
Okay.
can give them the energy they give me.
Yeah.
Or if you're injured, you can put that arm in a sling and put it in your gi and train with one hand
Mm.
lightly with
Wow.
trusted partners. So
Mm-hmm.
everything is adjustable. You could do the same thing in basketball. If you were injured and you could dribble with your right hand and that was your shooting hand, who's to say you can't get out there and do some layups
Except for coach.
or maybe throw a few dunks? If you're healthy and trainers clear you,
Yeah.
you're there, you're moving. The blood is
Yeah.
moving. You're learning, you're watching plays, maybe you're coaching. So training it can be, I'm training for a tournament, I'm going really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing every round like a maniac with no technique because I'm trying to improve my VO2 max.
Oh, I see.
Maybe I am just relaxing and trying to learn the art for self-defense,
Sure.
you
So,
know. So
would you say the majority, or maybe you can't bucket it, but are people coming into the gym for self-defense, or is it a bevy of
I
things?
would say it's 50-50.
Okay.
50% of the people come in for self-defense and they kind of fall in love with the sport aspect of it. The other people come in to compete. Most people decide they don't even want to compete. Like it's just not worth the hassle. They just don't
Mm,
want to do it. And ultimately, 90% of the people, it ends up being, hey, this is a tribe. We're all pushing in a positive direction. We're all sort of suffering together because it's difficult.
hmm.
And so they create these bonds, and now it becomes kind of your home away from home.
Yeah.
People, this is your friend network. You don't have a lot of drinkers in, they just don't go hand in hand. It's very
Yeah, very
difficult to go
difficult.
out drinking Friday night and train on a Saturday
Yeah.
or even a Monday because you're reeling from the weekend.
Hmm.
Very difficult. So you have some social drinkers, but if you're trying to be sober or do anything really positive, it's a good place to be because it's health focused. if
Sure.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. And it's such a practice, right? I mean, just from
It's a
going.
very perishable skill, and it's like a language or music. You need to immerse yourself.
Hmm.
It's not something you do once a month. Like me and my friends are going to goat yoga at the brewery. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
isn't that.
Okay. Do you compete?
I used to, but no, my body is shot. I
Okay.
just can't. I've tried a few times as of late, and I can't barely even make it. I start to ramp up training, and then you get to the event, and you're like, okay, I made it without an injury,
Yeah.
and and meanwhile, up to the event, you battle through two injuries. Not
Wow.
saying I'm done, but
Okay.
again, in jiu-jitsu, there is older people that do it, so we have divisions: masters 1, 2, 3.
Hmm.
Their age and weight appropriate, so there's always, you're going to go against someone else whose body's shot too, and they have 3 kids and they just want to go to work Monday morning. Not everything is the world championships,
Yeah.
but time is a big thing,
Mm.
especially when you become a coach. I want to get back in there, I want to do this, and all these things keep coming up over and over and over, whether it be the seminar you're going to, one you're hosting, class you have, other professional obligations, family time. Like these things really take precedent over that.
Yes.
A lot of times you have to care,
Hmm.
and if the care factor is not there, then why are you doing
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
So you
Absolutely.
have to have the fire one day. It's like you wake up and you have the itch,
Hmm.
or a certain opponent, that maybe you've trained with a few times casually, and you guys are
Mm.
pretty good together, and you're like, I wonder what it'd be like to compete 100% against that guy.
Wow.
And those little things can kind of stoke that.
Okay.
But for the most part, you have to want to do it.
I see.
And there's some people that live for the thrill, so they don't really care. It's like every weekend they're trying to get to that next tournament.
When did you become black belt?
2017.
Okay. So your journey there, about how many years did you put in before obtaining that?
That was a little over 9.
Oh wow. Wow. Um, what is the best way for people to find out more if they want to get their kids in jiu-jitsu or just check out a session, or how does that work?
Jump on the Google machine and email us, or call us is very good, because I'm very personable, and I like to, our number's right on the website,
Okay.
bellumbrazilianjiu-jitsu.com.
Awesome. Yep.
Even on Google, bellumbjj.com, Bellum Jiu-Jitsu, it'll all come up.
And
You
I'll
get to the
have.
website, pricing, schedule, instructors, bios, all that's on there. But the email is a great way, and I'll call back, I'll text back personally, or just pick up the phone. I will answer, and we will talk. A lot of
Okay.
times you call, nobody's there, nobody ever answers,
Nobody
or you get a
answers.
front desk person. Can you tell me your teaching style? Well, really, I don't know, because I'm filing my nails right now. But
Well, okay, and I'll be sure to link the website address and all the pertinent information in this episode description. So,
one other thing on the plug aspect:
yes.
if you're looking to see the vibe between members,
Hmm.
there's some videos and pictures of the gym and us training like that on Instagram. So that would be
Oh,
Bellum
cool.
BJJ St. Paul,
Okay, I'll link that too. Awesome.
but that is the only social media.
All right. Well, this has been such a pleasure and an honor.
It
I
is.
love what you and Holly have built, and you guys have such a wonderful community. My daughter did train here when she was young. She's now focused in basketball, but I feel like you have such a beautiful foundation, and it's such a, especially in this day and age, any time there's people creating community and a place of practice, and coming together and focusing on, being better selves, and I think it's a huge honor, and you should be really proud of yourself.
I agree. We need more spaces and places to get together socially. You used to have, in this country, I can't speak for others, but there was like the Fraternal Order of the Elks,
Mm.
right? And guys get together, or women had their own social clubs. And now people are lonely, and things like this, and it's definitely not good for society. I'm not saying it has to be jujitsu, but we need more community.
Well, I think we're both working to build such,
Agree.
and it was a beautiful community here today at the North Node event. Thank you, Derek. I really appreciate you.
Thanks, you as well.
All right. Cheers, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. Hi, friends. This is Maggie. Thank you so much for tuning into Minds on Mushrooms. Your support truly means everything. I'm now practicing as a certified psychedelic practitioner through North Node, offering support through intentional microdosing, integration, and guided experiences. I work slowly, safely, and with deep respect for the nervous system and the medicine, meeting you where you are and honoring the intelligence of your own path. If you're feeling curious or called, you don't have to navigate it alone. You can schedule a free alignment call at explorenorthnode.com/working together. Thank you for being here.